hold on to your saddles. It's going to get a little choppy.
It is ironic that this episode is centered all around a pilot because this is the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 that I feel like has really crashed and burned. This episode starts out with a promising storyline about Ortegas, who up to this point I really don't think has been given much to do with in the series. It seems like the actress who plays Ortegas has a huge fandom for the Star Trek world. I love following on social media. I love seeing all behind the scenes. But I don't feel like the show has ever given that character an opportunity to really shine. And this show, this episode particularly, looked like it was going to be that. And ultimately, it felt really, really flat.
I'm Erica Ortegas. I fly the ship.
We took a pretty one-dimensional character and just gave us more of that one-dimensionality. We didn't get much in the way of character development within this series at all, aside from the fact that she wants to go on a mission, but she's needed on the ship and she recognizes her place and purpose on the ship. Yes, that is an arc that's important, but it's not enough to be powering a solo episode. And she's honestly not shown quite enough to power a solo episode. And that's unfortunate because we've seen some other characters like La'an Noonien Singh and, Dr. Mbenga and Nurse Chapel. Like, they have gotten these incredible arcs and storylines. Even Ahura in episode 2 or 3 got a really cool solo episode. And so going into this expecting to finally get to see Ortegas, spread their wings and fly in this series, it just really didn't happen. Now, I feel like the episode struggles to find its footing in a few spots, and it just feels undercooked ultimately, which is something I can't say for, again, most of Strange New Worlds Season 2 thus far. I've really enjoyed all the episodes. Even the first episode, some people didn't like some of the action elements of it. I thought it was really solid. But this series has so far spent so much time dealing with the trauma of past memories, of future potential things that might happen. There's a lot of conversation happening about past, present, and future trauma and trepidation. Pike's whole character knows that he's going to die at some point. So they've done a good job with those heavy themes. And yet now we have an episode that is all centered around forgetting. It's all about these characters being trapped on a planet that slowly makes you lose memory. And they didn't do much to touch on those real regrets or those fears that, a character like La'an, who just had a tremendous solo episode where she deals with another devastating loss, her character, I feel like, would be pulled in some ways to want to forget some of those memories, but they barely touch on those things and don't give us a really deep kind of character study that we've come to expect. And that's something through all of Star Trek, even some of the, the sillier episodes in the original series, we were always driven by these really, great character pieces. And again, this one I feel like misses the mark. And I say that even for the production side as well. The VFX on this episode stand out as a sore thumb. They actually posted a behind the scenes clip of this after I had watched the episode. They're kind of using the same AR backgrounds that Mandalorian uses, but it was very distracting this episode. Even in the behind the scenes pictures, you can clearly see where the set ends and the screen begins. There were a lot of shots in the series where like even the color balance between the floor and the wall just didn't seem to match. And so it just felt like a very kind of lo-fi episode of a series that's been, cranking out some really high quality episodes so far. It set the bar really high for itself. So yeah, I wish we could have gotten a lot more with this episode. There's still some terrific performances. Anson Mount is still fantastic as Christopher Pike. As always, I'm glad we finally get to see him back in season 2, really in the saddle. I just really hope in a future episode we get a really good Ortegas episode, because I want her to be able to really showcase her talents as an actress and give us a reason to latch onto this character the way that the series so far has given us reasons to latch onto so many others within these episodes. So let me know what you thought of episode 4 of season 2 of Strange New Worlds, Among the Lotus Eaters, and I look forward to seeing you in the next review.